The phone rang at 11:30 a.m. on a Tuesday, right when I was sitting in my cramped office above the First National Bank building, going through maintenance receipts that didn't add up. The fluorescent light overhead buzzed like an angry wasp, and I could smell burnt coffee from the diner downstairs mixing with the musty scent of old carpet. I saw Victor's name on the screen and smiled. Maybe he was calling about the Henderson property's leaky faucet, or to ask if the kids could come swim in my backyard pool this weekend. My name is Harold Pierce, I'm 62 years old, and I never imagined that phone call would shatter everything I thought I knew about my son. I picked up expecting our usual chat about tenant complaints or overdue rent checks. Instead, Victor's voice came through cold and rushed, like he was calling from a busy airport terminal with flight announcements echoing in the background. Hey Dad, quick update, we moved to Florida last week. Patricia got transferred for work, forgot to mention it earlier. The words hit me like a sledgehammer to the chest. I set down my coffee mug so hard it rattled against the metal desk, spilling brown liquid across the stack of invoices I'd been reviewing. Through my second-floor window, I could see the parking lot where Victor usually parked his BMW when he stopped by to discuss business. You moved to another state? When exactly were you planning to tell me about this? Things happened fast, he said, and I could hear Patricia's voice sharp in the background, telling him to wrap it up quickly. The company offered her a promotion she couldn't refuse. We had to pack everything and drive down within a week. The kids are adjusting fine to their new school. I stood up from my creaky desk chair, my legs feeling unsteady. Eugene and Susan, my 10 and 8-year-old grandchildren, had just vanished from my life without so much as a goodbye hug. Every Tuesday after school, they'd climb those narrow stairs to my office, backpacks bouncing, asking if Grandpa Harold had any peppermints in his desk drawer. Victor, you're telling me you packed up my grandchildren and moved them 1,000 miles away, and it just slipped your mind to mention it. Look, Dad, we've been crazy busy. New house, new schools for the kids, Patricia's new job training. We'll video call you soon, okay? I gotta run. The movers are still unloading at the new place. The line went dead. I stared at the phone for a full minute, then walked to the window overlooking the small shopping plaza where half my rental income came from. This wasn't just forgetting to mention something, this was deliberate abandonment. After my wife Dorothy passed away 3 years ago from cancer, I'd thrown myself into expanding our little real estate business. Pierce Properties wasn't much to look at -10 rental units scattered around town and this office building I'd bought from old Mr. Peterson when he retired. But it was honest work that Dorothy and I had built together, brick by brick, tenant by tenant. The portfolio included 4 duplex units on Maple Street where young families rented, 3 single-family homes near the elementary school, 2 apartments above the hardware store on Main, and 1 small house I kept for Eugene and Susan to inherit someday. Plus this office building with its 6 small business tenants, the insurance agency, the tax preparer, a beauty salon, a computer repair shop, and 2 empty spaces I'd been trying to fill. Victor had been helping me manage the day-to-day operations, especially after Patricia kept pushing him to modernize the business and think bigger about investments. He'd taken over most of the bookkeeping, set up online banking to make things more efficient, and handled contractor relationships while I focused on tenant relations. I spent the rest of that afternoon calling the rental properties, just to keep my hands busy and my mind off the empty feeling in my chest. Mrs. Rodriguez at the Maple Street duplex asked when I was bringing the grandkids by again. They'd promised to help her plant tomatoes this spring. Old Mr. Murphy at the Main Street apartment mentioned he hadn't seen Victor's BMW around lately and wondered if everything was okay with the family. That evening, I sat at my kitchen table in the house Dorothy and I had shared for 30 years. The silence felt different now, not just the quiet of living alone, but the echo of being forgotten by my own son. I pulled out all the financial records from the past 18 months, spreading bank statements and invoice folders across the scratched oak surface where we'd shared thousands of meals. Dorothy had always handled our books with military precision, color-coding expenses, and keeping meticulous records in her neat handwriting. After she died, I'd gradually let Victor take over more of the paperwork. He'd said it would free me up to focus on what I did best, talking to tenants, handling maintenance personally, building relationships in the community. As I opened the first folder marked Maintenance 2023, something made my stomach drop. The expenses had nearly tripled since Victor took over the books. According to these invoices, we'd spent $47,000 on plumbing repairs alone in the past year. But I knew every pipe and fixture in those buildings like I knew the lines on my own hands. Most of them were only 5 years old, installed when Dorothy was still alive and insisting on quality work. I grabbed the folder marked contractor payments and started dialing the companies listed on the invoices. My hands were shaking slightly as I punched in the numbers. The first 3 were disconnected. The 4th rang through to a pizza place in Tampa. The fifth was a landscaping company that had never heard of Pierce Properties. By 10 p.m., I'd confirmed what I was afraid to admit, at least $180,000 in payments to fake contractors over 18 months. My own son had been systematically stealing from the family business, using my trust and Dorothy's memory as cover for his scheme. I didn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about all the times Victor had insisted on handling the boring paperwork while I dealt with tenants. How he'd volunteered to set up online banking to bring us into the 21st century, Dad. How Patricia had started wearing designer clothes and driving that BMW while complaining they were struggling to make ends meet on his insurance agent's salary. Around 3 a.m., I found myself standing in Dorothy's old sewing room, now converted to storage, holding a framed photo of our family from last Christmas. Victor's arm around my shoulders, the kids on my lap, all of us laughing at some joke Eugene had told 6 months ago, before I knew my son was a thief. The next morning, I called my attorney, Theodore Franklin. Ted had handled our business legal work for years and helped me restructure the company after Dorothy died. His office sat above the bank 3 blocks from mine, in one of those old brick buildings downtown that had survived every economic downturn since the 1920s. "Harold, I hate to say this," Ted said after I explained the situation, leaning back in his leather chair surrounded by law books and case files. "But you need to assume this is worse than what you've found so far. If Victor's been this systematic about covering his tracks, there's probably more." Through Ted's window, I could see the courthouse where Dorothy and I had gotten married 35 years ago. She'd worn her mother's dress and carried daisies from our own garden. If she were alive, this betrayal would have killed her all over again. What do you recommend? First, we secure all the accounts immediately. Second, we bring in a forensic accountant to trace every transaction. Third, we document everything before confronting him. If he's embezzled this much, Harold, we're talking about serious criminal charges minus to 5 to 10 years in federal prison. That afternoon, I drove to each rental property, taking the long way through neighborhoods where Dorothy and I used to walk on Sunday evenings. The Maple Street duplexes sat in a tree-lined area where young families pushed strollers and kids rode bikes on sidewalks. I'd painted those front porches myself just 2 years ago, Dorothy handing me tools and making sure the color matched her vision. Mrs. Rodriguez in Unit 4 was watering her flower boxes when I knocked. A plump woman in her 50s who worked nights at the hospital and always paid rent early. "Mr. Pierce, I was just thinking about you. When are you bringing Eugene and Susan by? They promised to help me plant tomatoes this spring, and it's getting late in the season." I forced a smile. "They're visiting their other grandparents for a while, but tell me, Mrs. Rodriguez, have you had any maintenance work done recently? Plumbing or electrical?" She looked confused. "No, sir, nothing since you fixed my kitchen faucet yourself last summer." "Why? Is something wrong?" I showed her the invoice, $8,000 in plumbing repairs to her unit, dated just 3 months ago. Her eyes widened. "Mr. Pierce, I've never seen any workmen." "This is crazy, minus $8,000? For what?" "My pipes work fine." The pattern repeated at every property. The Hendersons at the Main Street apartment hadn't seen any electrical work, despite invoices showing $12,000 in rewiring. The Johnsons' single-family rental supposedly had new HVAC installed for $15,000, but their old system was working perfectly. By evening, I had visited all 10 properties. Not one tenant had received the maintenance work documented in our books. The next day, I drove to our storage unit where we kept extra appliances and maintenance supplies. Leonard, our part-time maintenance supervisor, was there organizing tools. A reliable guy in his 60s who'd worked construction his whole life before semi-retiring. "Leonard, I need to ask you about some recent work orders." I handed him the stack of invoices. He scratched his gray head, squinting at the paperwork. "Mr. Pierce, I haven't ordered any electrical work in 2 years. These invoices, I've never seen them before, and this plumbing company, Premium Solutions, never heard of them. What about these heating repairs at the Johnson place? Their HVAC is only 3 years old. Works fine. I was just there last month fixing a loose vent cover. Took me 20 minutes. Leonard's weathered face creased with worry. "Is someone trying to scam you?" "Someone was scamming me, all right. My own son. That weekend was the longest of my life." I kept looking at photos of Eugene and Susan scattered around the house, school pictures on the refrigerator, swimming photos from last summer, their artwork taped to my office wall. How would I explain to them someday that their father had stolen their inheritance, that Grandpa Harold had to choose between justice and family peace? I thought about Dorothy constantly. She'd always been the backbone of our family, the one who insisted on doing things right, even when it was harder. Harold, she used to say, raising children means teaching them consequences. Love without boundaries isn't love, it's enabling. Monday morning, I met with Ted's recommended forensic accountant. a sharp woman named Linda Walsh who specialized in family business fraud. Her office was sterile and efficient, with computer monitors displaying spreadsheets that looked like code to me. Mr. Pierce, your son was very clever, she said, pointing to a complex web of transactions on her screen. He created an elaborate system of fake companies, phony invoices, and unauthorized transfers. Look at this. Creative Solutions LLC, premium maintenance services, elite property care, all registered to P.O. boxes that don't exist. The numbers were staggering. Victor had even forged my signature on several checks over $10,000 using a technique so good it had fooled the bank's verification system. Where did the money go? I asked, though I dreaded the answer. Linda clicked through another screen showing credit card payments, luxury purchases, and what appeared to be gambling debts. Mostly lifestyle maintenance. Your daughter-in-law's BMW lease, designer shopping, expensive restaurants, private school tuition bumps, and about $40,000 to an online casino account. My son wasn't just a thief, he was a gambling addict who'd used our family business as his personal ATM. On Friday morning, as I sat in my office looking out at the parking lot where Victor's BMW used to sit, my phone rang. His name appeared on the screen, and for a moment, my heart fluttered with that old paternal hope. Maybe he was calling to confess. Maybe he'd found his conscience. Dad, I tried to access the business account online and it's not working. Did you change the passwords? I'd been dreading this call, but I was ready. Through my office window, I watched a young mother pushing a stroller past the bank, probably heading to the park where I used to take Eugene and Susan for ice cream. Normal life continuing while my world crumbled. Yes, I did. We need to talk, Victor. In person. About what? Look, if this is about us moving, I'm sorry we didn't give you more notice. But Patricia's opportunity was time sensitive, and we had to. It's not about moving. It's about the $180,000 you've stolen from the company. Silence. Long, guilty silence. I could hear traffic in the background, probably Patricia asking what was wrong, maybe the kids playing video games in another room of their fancy Florida apartment. Dad, I can explain. You can explain it to Ted Franklin. My office, Monday at 2 p.m. Bring Patricia if you want, but come prepared to answer questions about Creative Solutions LLC, premium maintenance services, and about 15 other companies that don't exist except on the invoices you created. Dad, listen, I was going to pay it all back. The business was stagnating, and I thought if I could just get ahead of some personal debts, I could focus on growing the company for all of us. Patricia's been under so much pressure at work, and the kids needed, the rationalization in his voice made me angrier than the theft itself. Here he was, 35 years old, trying to justify stealing from his children's inheritance with the same tone he'd used at 8 years old when caught breaking Dorothy's china cabinet. Victor, you stole from your children's inheritance. You forged my signature. You lied to my face for over a year while sitting at my dinner table, eating my food, taking money from my wallet to buy ice cream for those same children. Don't talk to me about growing anything except your own bank account. We can work this out as a family. No. We'll work it out in a lawyer's office with documentation and legal agreements. See you Monday. I hung up and immediately called Ted. He knows we're onto him. Move faster on securing everything. That weekend dragged by like a funeral procession. Saturday morning, I sat in Dorothy's favorite chair on the back porch, drinking coffee from the mug she'd bought me for Father's Day 10 years ago, world's best grandpa in faded blue letters. The garden she'd planted was in full bloom, roses and daisies, creating the riot of color she'd always loved. I kept thinking about the conversation I'd have to have with Eugene and Susan someday. How do you explain to a 10-year-old that his father is a thief? How do you tell an 8-year-old girl that daddy stole money meant for her college fund? Sunday evening, Victor called again. This time I could hear Patricia in the background, her voice shrill and panicked. Dad, Patricia wants to talk to you. She thinks we can explain everything. I heard the phone being passed, then Patricia's voice artificially sweet the way it got when she wanted something. Harold, there's been a misunderstanding. Victor was making improvements to the business. Everything he did was for the family's benefit. We're willing to sit down and Patricia, your husband committed embezzlement and forgery. There's no misunderstanding about felony crimes. You're being dramatic. This is family business. We can handle it privately. You're right, it was family business, until your husband made it criminal business. Monday came with a thunderstorm that matched my mood. I arrived early at Ted's office, an imposing space with dark wood paneling and law books that seemed to weigh down the air itself. The conference table was mahogany, polished to reflect the overhead lights, surrounded by leather chairs that had probably witnessed thousands of difficult conversations. Ted had prepared meticulously. 3 neat stacks of documents sat at one end of the table, Minex bank records, forged signatures, fake invoices. A digital projector was set up to display the forensic accountant's findings. This wasn't going to be a family discussion, this was a prosecution. Victor showed up alone, looking like he hadn't slept in days. His usually perfect hair was disheveled, his shirt wrinkled, his confident swagger replaced by the nervous fidgeting of a man who knew he was trapped. He kept glancing at the documents like they might bite him. "Where's Patricia?" I asked. She thought it would be better if I handled this myself. Translation, she'd sent him to face the consequences alone while she protected herself. Ted laid out the evidence methodically, his voice professional and cold. Bank records showing unauthorized transfers, forged signatures that handwriting experts had confirmed were fake, screenshots of the luxury purchases made with diverted company funds, Patricia's BMW lease, designer handbags, expensive dinners, private school tuition bumps, and that damning $40,000 in online gambling debts. "The way I see it, Victor, you have two choices," Ted said, sliding a thick document across the polished table. "Option 1. We file criminal charges for embezzlement, fraud, and forgery. You're looking at 5 to 10 years in federal prison, and your children will visit you through bulletproof glass. Option 2. You sign this restitution agreement and civil judgment." Victor's hands shook as he read the terms: full repayment of $180,000 over 7 years, immediate removal from all company accounts and operations, supervised visitation with the children only. He couldn't take them overnight without my written permission, a public admission of embezzlement in a notarized statement, and a personal guarantee that if he missed even one payment, criminal charges would be filed immediately. "Dad, this will ruin my career. No one in insurance will hire me if this gets out." I looked across that mahogany table at my son, really looked at him and saw a stranger wearing Victor's face. The boy I'd taught to change oil and balance a checkbook had become someone who'd steal from his own father without hesitation, someone who'd gamble away his children's future and then try to justify it as business innovation. "Your career was built on stolen money," I said quietly. "Maybe it's time you learned to earn things the honest way." Victor stared at the contract for what felt like an hour. Outside Ted's window, I could see people walking to lunch, living normal lives where sons didn't steal from fathers and families stayed together. The rain had stopped, but dark clouds still hung over downtown like a threat. "If I don't sign this, you'll really send me to prison," Ted answered before I could. "Mr. Pierce has enough evidence to convict you tomorrow. The DA would love a white-collar case this clean. Embezzlement, forgery, fraud. It's a prosecutor's dream." Victor picked up the pen with trembling fingers. His signature looked nothing like the confident scrawl he'd forged on my checks. "What about Patricia? What about the kids?" "That's not my problem anymore," I said. "You should have thought about them before you started stealing." He signed the papers. What choice did he have? The next few months were the hardest of my life. Victor found work as a junior property manager for a company in Tampa, making about a third of what he'd been skimming from me. Patricia had to give up the BMW and return to driving a used Honda. They moved from their Ocean View apartment to a small rental house in a working-class neighborhood where people actually paid their own bills. But something unexpected happened during those long, quiet months. Eugene called me one evening in October, his voice excited in a way I hadn't heard since they'd moved. "Grandpa Harold, guess what? Dad got a promotion at his new job. His boss says he's the most honest property manager they've ever had." I almost choked on my coffee. "Is that right?" "Yeah. And Mom's teaching piano lessons to kids in the neighborhood. She says it's more fun than her old job because she gets to be home when we get out of school." Through the phone, I could hear Susan practicing scales in the background, the same piano exercises Dorothy had insisted on when Victor was their age. The piano they'd had to sell when they downsized, then somehow managed to buy back used. "How are you doing in your new school, buddy?" "It's okay. Different from before. The kids here don't have as much stuff, but they're nicer. Dad helps me with homework every night now. He says he wants to make sure I understand how to work hard for things." 2 weeks later, Victor sent me a check for $2,500 right on schedule with his restitution payments. Attached was a note written on cheap paper instead of his old expensive letterhead. "Dad, I know I destroyed your trust, but I'm grateful you chose justice over vengeance. For the first time in years, I'm teaching my kids what real work looks like instead of just buying them things I couldn't afford." I deposited the check at First National, where Mrs. Henderson behind the teller window had known our family for decades. "How's Victor doing down in Florida, Harold?" "He's learning," I said. "Sometimes that takes a while." 6 months after the contract was signed, Patricia called me directly for the first time since the whole mess started. "Harold, I owe you an apology. I thought you were being cruel, but I understand now. Victor's a different man. He comes home tired from actual work instead of stressed from covering up lies. The kids respect him more. Even I respect him more." Her voice was different, no longer the entitled whine I'd grown used to, but something softer, more genuine. We're all different now, I said. Sometimes crisis shows you who people really are. In December, exactly 1 year after that phone call that changed everything, Victor brought the kids to visit for the first time. We met at a restaurant halfway between our town's neutral territory where we could test the waters. Eugene had grown 3 inches and lost his baby fat. Susan's hair was longer, and she'd developed Dorothy's habit of sitting up straight and looking adults in the eye when she spoke. But it was Victor who shocked me most. Gone was the soft businessman who'd never done physical labor. His hands were calloused from real property maintenance work, his shoulders broader from actual lifting instead of just lifting money from accounts. "Dad," he said, as we sat in that truck stop diner with its cracked vinyl booths and coffee that tasted like it had been sitting since morning, "I want you to know the kids understand what happened. Not all the details, but enough. They know their father made serious mistakes and had to make them right. What did you tell them? The truth. That I stole money from Grandpa Harold's business because I was scared and selfish. That you could have sent me to jail but chose to teach me a lesson instead. That real men face consequences for their actions." Susan looked up from her coloring book. "Grandpa Harold, Dad says you saved our family by being brave enough to be mad at him. I had to excuse myself to the restroom for a minute." When I came back, Victor was helping Eugene with his multiplication tables on a napkin, something he'd never had time for when he was too busy embezzling. Last month, Victor sent me check number 18 of 84, right on time as always. He'd included a photo of the kids at their school's honor roll ceremony. Both of them had made straight A's. My name is Harold Pierce. I'm 62 years old, a widower, and I've never let anyone steal my dignity, not even my own son. Sometimes the hardest thing a father can do is save his child from himself, even when it means breaking both their hearts first. Trust, once broken, takes years to rebuild. But it can be rebuilt, one honest conversation and one kept promise at a time. The greatest inheritance you can leave your children isn't money. It's teaching them that actions have consequences, because that's the only lesson that will protect them when you're gone. Sometimes being a strong father means letting your son fall hard enough to learn how to stand up on his own, even when every instinct tells you to catch him before he hits the ground.